and welcome to another episode of the Biz Coach Show. We're hanging out with founder and CEO of My Biz Coaches, Eric Whitmoyer. Eric, how are you doing today?
David, I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing awesome, man. I've been hanging out with you. We're talking about business. We're talking about business coaching. How could it be bad, right?
That's right.
Absolutely. Well, hey, if you're not familiar with the show, be sure to subscribe. On the show, Eric talks about business coaching. He also talks about topics that are related to professionals that serve small businesses and how that kind of intersects with business coaching. And today we're talking about the importance of building your social media influence as a business coach. And so, Eric, I think you've got a couple of tips for us. Why don't we start out with tip number one?
Awesome. All right. So before I go into tip number one, let me touch on this real quick. In the ever-evolving landscape of social media, businesses constantly seek innovative strategies to stay ahead of the curve. While traditional tactics like regular posting and engaging content, which you've heard about many, many times, are still essential, there's some unexpected approaches that can yield remarkable results. And so we're going to cover 5 of those today, right? And they will often really drive additional explosive growth for your presence online. So the first one is leveraging micro influencers. While big name influencers can offer broad reach, micro influencers often provide more genuine engagement. And if you don't understand this yet about social media, engagement is the real component of the success that you're going to find on social media. Impressions are great. Engagements are what's really going to drive your ability to convert and get clients from the efforts that you're putting forth in your social engagements, social presence, social media. So these individuals often range from maybe 10,000 to 100,000 followers is their audience, and they have highly engaged audiences. So if you can partner with one or more micro influencers in your niche, they can lead to more authentic and impactful promotions. So basically what you do is you partner up with somebody who has an audience that's similar to yours, and you do a promotion to their base that helps you gather new followers that you could drive them to. So you want a particular call to action. You could drive them to maybe join your newsletter or check out a new webinar that you're putting together, some kind of free solution or something like that. But by leveraging their big base and introducing to the people introducing those people to what you do can help you gather more followers very quickly. So, for instance, you had a coach who is a micro influencer in a particular category of business. Let's say like a sales trainer. As a business coach, I partner with sales trainers because it's an area I can speak to, but at the same time, it's not one that I focus on. And so I might get somebody who's a sales specialist, who's a micro influencer with 10 to 100,000 followers. And I'll partner up and do a program with them where we talk about how important it is to have a good sales process. And so what we'll do is we'll work with them and leverage their recommendations and work on maybe a collaborative program where the two of us will come together in some kind of webinar and share our insights and our perspectives. So there's a little bit of a crossover between the two of us. But obviously, if they're a larger micro influencer than I am, then in that case, we both can win because they can pick up business from both sides. So recently saw an exercise in this where we had somebody actually saw a 25% increase in sales over the course of 3 months by doing this with a local influencer.
Wow. Well, it's interesting, Eric, when we were talking about this, you said influencers. I was like, really? But then I got to thinking, what do they have, right? Not only do they have an audience, but they have an audience that trusts them and their recommendations. And so in a way, they're attributing the trust that they have in that influencer in your brand, in your business as a coach, right? So you're leveraging that in a very real way. So yeah, I think that's a great tip. What would you say is kind of the second thing that you would focus on?
Yeah. So the second thing is, and I kind of led to it in the first piece, but it's having interactive live sessions. So you hear people about going live on Facebook or live on Instagram, live on in LinkedIn. We've done a number of live workshops and webinars on LinkedIn and had some really good success from that. We did one on AI, a couple on goal setting and time management, things like that. But those live sessions go a long way. What I would speak to most specifically is my experience on LinkedIn. when we do a live event on LinkedIn, there's a number of different ways that you can leverage how you invite people to that event, and that happens to be my biggest influence that I have. So like 26,500 followers or something like that now. So when I do a live event and I invite people to that event, we often get upwards of 200 plus almost 300 people registering for that live event. Now the show rates are going to vary dramatically, right? I mean, you could see 50, 40, 30% actually show. But ironically, because it's recorded, you often will see people follow up after the fact and watch the recordings. So don't be disappointed if the live event that there aren't as many people as you had hoped for. We actually closed sales off of a number of our events that we did live. They watched the recording at some point later on, a week or two later, and obviously when they had time, and then reached out to engage with us to become a potential client or become a client in regards to some aspect of the training that we provided. So, but you can host Q&A sessions, behind the scene tours. I mean, it really kind of depends on what your primary focus is and what you do as a coach. Product demonstrations, if you're, in this, for us, it would be, if I had an AI solution that I was promoting, I could actually do a live webinar and actually show how I would use that AI solution to create content or make marketing content or something like that. But a live engagement like that, where you're actually showing people how you create what you do. I know that was the first time I saw somebody do a live example of video AI, and we ended up opting to purchase video AI and use that to create our reels from the podcast that we do.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's funny, as you said that, Eric, I'm one of those people that I sign up for webinars knowing I won't be able to attend, but hoping or anticipating there'll be a recording. And then I can just, on the weekend or when I've got a free day or whatever, go in and catch up on it. Right. So I think, don't be discouraged. Right. I think that's the key thing there. Awesome.
Yep.
What would you say is tip number 3?
Tip number 3 is to learn how to encourage your audience to create content related to your brand by hosting contests. I've only done this a couple of times, but it is something that one of our coaches has actually done pretty extensively and generated a ton of exposure from that. A huge number lift in followers and more, even more engagement because people are excited about it. They raffle off different, whether it's books or programs or like a coaching consultation or something like that. But using the different contest concept to, who gets registered first, the first 20 people, whatever, qualify for this, whatever that is, by leveraging a contest, they're able to really kind of get additional buy-in. And then there's actually a whole subgroup of people that are involved in, engaging back and forth. They're even challenging one another. Hey, I already got signed up. Are you signed up yet? And so in a way, you've got people in your group, your followers engaging with the other people, kind of challenging them to sign up, which was kind of an interesting perspective. But people really love, winning things, getting things for free, and contests are a great way to put really good stuff out there and get people to want to kind of take part in that. But it also provides authentic testimonials that can attract new customers, right? People are out there sharing how this is valuable for me and how it helped them, accomplish what they needed to accomplish. So you could have clients share stuff that they learned from you. And for instance, they could say, David, I've had a series of webinar trainings or something like that we've done, or maybe it was even coaching sessions, like in a group setting. And we actually did this. This is one of the times where I did it. We did a group coaching session a few months back. I think there was about a dozen people in the room. And we talked about, okay, who's going to be the first to take action on this? Like, everybody shared their one key takeaway that they were going to take action on based on the training that we had done that day. And there were 12 people in the room. Everybody shared their one thing. And then the first person that posted in the group to let everybody know that they had taken action and they could show proof that they had taken action won an extra month worth of one-on-one coaching, which, we value at about $1,000. So, we had everybody going back and forth, and people are challenging each other. And It was a really cool experience to watch everybody kind of jump in and not just myself trying to push it, but all of the others in the group were pushing back and forth and trying to challenge each other. We actually had a first, second, and third place. So everybody was kind of, once the first person got in there, they didn't all quit. Everybody started fighting for the second place and then the third place. So it's a pretty interesting perspective. And as I mentioned, one of our coaches does this extensively to generate exposure, generate engagement, and most importantly, find new clients on a regular basis.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was actually just thinking about that of, having some sort of a lead capture for the contest, and the people that don't win, you can always remarket to them and say, hey, you didn't get the free offer, but we'll do 20% off, or, you could do different things like
Great
that.
point.
Generate additional, sign up. But awesome. Okay. What's our next tip?
So the next one is utilizing ephemeral content. Ephemeral content like Instagram stories, something that disappears really quickly, right? It's temporary. So you want to make sure that you could, Instagram stories is a great place. Snapchat would be another place you could do it. But anywhere where you put content and it's there for a short period of time to create a sense of urgency and exclusivity. So use that to share limited time offers, behind the scene moments, or flash sales. And I think that in the coach space, we probably could do a better job of this. You'll see this. A great example of this would be like a Black Friday promotion, right? It's only available on Black Friday, or maybe it's Cyber Monday or whatever, but you can create your own. You don't have to have that kind of event. People expect those around that time frame, but you could create your own around something unique going on within your own business. So for instance, on another podcast I recently mentioned, we have some big announcements coming up here in September. And literally, as I'm prepping the content for our show today, I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I think what I might do is put a contest out there and have people guess what they think our big announcement's going to be. And also I'll drop hints in the coming shows, and maybe we use that as a contest and use this. We'll tie the two together over the next couple of weeks. If you listen to the podcast, you'll get the hints. So there's the short-term opportunity to capture the information. The hints will then allow you to, jump in, and we'll have a place where they can, a form where they can go in and put their suggestion, what they think the announcement's going to be about or what it's going to be on. And then when we come out and do it, then we'll announce the winners on that show. I literally just came up with that as we're going. So, well, we might need to flesh that out a little bit. Like the whole idea with ephemeral content is it's something that you do. It's very limited. It's very kind of like I said, a flash sale opportunity. And what that does is that really keeps people engaged and paying attention to. So it has to be a really good offer to, so that people will go the extra way, but it creates that scarcity and the urgency that you're looking for. It also helps create a buzz, right? If we can extend this over, a 4 or 5 week period of time, whatever it is, till we make that announcement, some really cool things will happen that should hopefully create some additional buzz in our different social media platforms and getting people talking about what's going on as we post on a regular basis. So I'm as I say that, to people, look for the opportunities within your own business. How could you use those same concepts?
Yeah, as you're saying that, Eric, I was thinking about, I mean, as you know, giant nerd. So I was thinking Marvel, right? They'd always have that little teaser at the end of the credit scene, or, leading up to a theatrical release, they'd kind of drop these little Easter eggs and things like that. So using different media channels to kind of drive people to different things is super smart. Like having a story that points to a live reveal that you do on Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever. So yeah, I think that's awesome. Great idea.
Yeah, exactly. As a matter of fact, I watched a session today, training session with one of the people that I follow extensively, and he had mentioned that the whole thing with the Deadpool, right? Deadpool's been phenomenal. It's taken off really well. I know that you really, as you mentioned, Marvel. But what was interesting is with the whole Deadpool release, there was a ton of different things that took place in regards to building up for that, right? That Ryan Reynolds is genius in that regard, in trying to kind of, he doesn't show too much. He doesn't show his hand too quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. But when he wants to, he's everywhere. I mean, that's the cool thing. And you can So awesome. Okay. Next one.
So the last one, number 5, is creating niche communities. So in the coaching space, one of the things, especially as it relates to business coaching, there's lots of topics in the business space. Quite honestly, somebody who's a business coach or a coach who focuses on business owners, depending on what your skill set is and how wide you can go in different categories, one of the things you're going to find is it's hard to nail down a marketing strategy because there's so many things you can do. You're like, I don't know what to focus on. Well, what you want to focus on is what people want from you. But more specifically, when you find out these niches, what you do is you create communities that support that niche. So for instance, business owners, and I've mentioned this before, I have a number of law firms that I coach. So I would have a niche of lawyers or law firms, right? That I work with, and they're in that group. And I could, to help increase my base by focusing and creating a community that just supports lawyers and law firms, I could actually incrementally add that, because as lawyers are talking about, oh, I learned this from my coach, or I learned that from this guy I'm watching on LinkedIn or whatever, that would draw additional people into that group. And I can do that in different niches where my comfort level is. So I can certainly do that with law firms, as it's a place that I've demonstrated I'm having success. I also could do that with some of the blue collar trade spaces like HVAC or landscaping. Those are some of the ones that I enjoy working with, and I have a fairly good understanding about their business models. And so when I create that, I can create that subgroup of individuals in that area, in that niche, and we can. What's good about that is that group will then share best practices amongst themselves. They'll talk about things that are working for them, and that creates a really loyal following base that people that are all getting together and sharing those ideas, and they really kind of hook in and support one another over and above the coaching that I'm providing. So pretty substantial when you think about how that could play out for you, and in creating more growth and more exposure to areas where you really want to put time and energy in.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, those are some great tips, Eric. And as I'm thinking through that, I mean, certainly, some very specific, practical, things that people can do right now on social media to improve their coaching business. Anything else that you can think of, maybe things that you've seen, things that you've done that have worked really well that you'd want to share before we wrap up today?
Well, I would say in general, as it relates to social media, I think the biggest thing is I actually, I'm gonna steal this from recent conversation we had, but you have to leverage the tools that are out there for social media to fully capitalize on it. Like we talked about, I opened with, hey, you need to be out there all the time. You need to be ever present in social media. You cannot not be in social media. Now, you can't be everywhere, but you need to be wherever you are all the time.
Yeah.
Right. And to quantify that one step further, if you're on LinkedIn, you're on LinkedIn every day. Right. If you're on Facebook, you're on Facebook every day. Whatever the platform is, you're on it all the time. Because you can't be in all the platforms. It's just not realistic to be on all the platforms, at least not to the level that you can engage with the clients and do those extra pieces. And I would say that one of the biggest things, and what I try to hit on with some of these suggestions that I made, was what are the things that are going to engage your community and get people even more attracted to you and what you do and following your information. And so some of the resources, like we talked about, the niche communities or the contests, right? What you're trying to do is get additional people following you beyond your just posting stuff on social media, right? Just posting daily, that's that's the ante to play. Now you have to go the extra step. You have to incorporate video content. You have to do these contests, do live events. You have to create communities. And when you do all of that, obviously you can't do that across 5, 6, 7 different platforms, but you can do it really good on maybe 1 or 2. And then the other ones you can have a presence, but your primary focus is 1 or 2, and determining which ones those are, it goes a long way to help ensure that you're getting the best results from the time and energy you spend in social media.
Yeah. Well, and you bring up a good point, right? Is, let's say pick one, but also where is the market you're trying to reach it? Where are
Yes,
they?
right.
And picking a tool that makes sense for that, right? If you're trying to do B2B stuff and you're on TikTok versus LinkedIn, well, you're probably going to, struggle, right? So I think that makes sense. Maybe not if you have a great strategy, but I think solid advice on that. So
yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, as we wrap up here, Eric, I'm just thinking if somebody's interested in, learning more from you about what they might be able to do to improve their social media, I think, definitely have them head over, check out mybizcoaches.co. They can schedule that free consultation and learn more. I'm sure you wouldn't mind taking a few minutes and sharing some specific advice for their business or their situation. And then specific to business coaches, right? If somebody's watching this and you're maybe a coach right now and you're struggling, or maybe you've thought about getting into business coaching, or you're already serving small businesses, but not in a coaching capacity. Eric would love to talk to you about that too. Just have to scan the QR code or go to mybizcoaches.co/coach, and you can learn more about that. I might be mistaken, but I think both of those conversations are completely free. Is that correct, Eric?
That's correct. They're absolutely free.
Awesome. There you go. Perfect. Definitely learn more. And then if you found this information valuable, Eric does have a couple of newsletters. So he does practice what he preaches. He's on LinkedIn all the time. You also see him on other networks, but that's really a big one. He's got the Biz Coaches Edge. It's a newsletter for business coaches and professionals that serve small businesses. And then he also has two other newsletters, the Entrepreneur's Edge and the Biz Coach Notes. All those are available on LinkedIn. You can just follow him and then you'll see them, or you can go scan those QR codes and check them out there. And then last but not least, Eric, I always like to ask you, you're always working on something. You always got something simmering in the background. Any big announcements or updates, or are you going to leave us in suspense once again?
We are in a suspense mode, yes, for certain. As that big announcement will come out here in September. Once I identified exactly what the specifics are, we'll roll out that contest, because I think I think that'd be a cool exercise for us.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want to miss it. So make sure, first of all, you subscribe here to this show, and then follow Eric on social media so you can see all the Easter eggs and the countdown and everything he's going to drop there, and participate in the contest. But I knew it. I knew you had something, but I love putting into practice the things that you talked about today. So that's great. Well, as always, man, it's been great hanging out with you, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Appreciate it, David. Thank you.